Tax time is coming. A lot of scams going on. The question is, are you ready to deal with the scams? Do you know what a scam is? Do you know what real tax information is? Do you understand what a deduction is? A normal and necessary deduction? Do you understand what it means to report your revenue? Well, I've been kind of tired of people talking about tax online who are not tax professionals. So I said, hey, let's do a show about how people can avoid tax scams. And what I did was I brought it back up. So I brought in my man Tyrone Gregory, the self-employment guy, so we could have a great conversation and talk about this together. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. Kamari Ellis, got my man Tyrone Gregory here. How are you,
Yes,
sir?
sir. Yes, sir. I'm
All right, well,
honored. I am on the Finance Rebel Show, boy.
listen,
Mama, I
man,
didn't made it.
man, you the superstar out here.
Ah, I'm
So
saying.
we got two tax professionals here. Tyrone, are you an enrolled agent also?
Yes, sir.
So we got two enrolled agents here. So if you don't know, somebody share this with some other folks, right? But if you don't know what an enrolled agent is, an enrolled agent is the highest tax certification in the land. It's a certification from the IRS. I know a lot of times people get confused about who the tax pros are, who the real tax pros are. Well, there's a lot of them, right? There's
Yeah.
CPAs, certified public accountants, there are enrolled agents, and there's also tax lawyers. All of those people can represent clients in front of the IRS, but all of them have kind of different specialities. For example, tax lawyers focus on law, and yes, tax is law for the record for y'all that don't know.
Mm,
CPAs, however, focus on accounting,
absolutely.
and enroll agents, all we do is focus on tax, right? So I always say lawyers are kind of the kings and queens of law. Certified public accountants are the kings and queens of accounting, and tax is a small piece of accounting because all CPAs don't do accounting. And enrolled agents are the kings and queens of tax. So I wanted to bring another EA on so we can talk about this intelligently because there's a lot of scams going on. I don't know if y'all saw
Oh,
the
man.
IG live we did talking about the G Wagon play, but we'll talk a little bit about that. But before we get into everything, just want to talk about some stuff real quick, real quick. I think Kanye got banned again. So that's kind of like old news for all those who care. And the Fed Reserve raised interest rates by 75 basis points. I know a lot of people were concerned about that. A lot of people are fearful about that. I'm actually glad they are raising rates. Why? Why is Kamari glad that they're
Yeah,
raising
talk
rates?
about it.
I'm glad they're raising rates because what you see what's happening right now in housing, a lot of that, a lot of people don't have housing or can't afford a housing. Why is that? Because there's so many people in the market buying homes.
Yeah.
Oftentimes corporations and big money people, they didn't have to pay any money to get the money. What I mean by that is any corporation, anybody who's really into finance looks at what it costs to borrow money, what the cost
Yes.
of money is. Right now, before, let's say 6 months ago, there was a zero cost of getting money. And so now you're bringing all these other players into the fold, pushing up prices for homes. And so now we talked about gentrification before. It's getting even much more wilder now because there's so many people in the mix. Supply and demand. The more demand you got in the market, the same amount of supply, you're going to push prices up. It's
Mm,
basic economics, right? So when the Fed gives out free money, it makes it harder for the little people, the guys like me and Tyrone, who we want to be millionaires one day, but we got to get there. We got to get there. So, Tyrone, real
talk to
quick,
me.
you're an enrolled agent, you're a tax accountant.
Yes.
How did you get there?
Oh, man. My story is a journey, brother. I honestly had no intentions on being in the tax game. Long story short, I was working in construction because I love working with my hands, have my own construction business here in Cali. Uh, got audited, right? That was, the worst thing that happened to me because I thought I knew what I was doing. I was doing it myself. Thought I knew everything. It didn't happen. Got audited. Trusted somebody. Like what we talking about tonight. Somebody tax scammed me, and I told my wife, I was like, you know what? Before that happened again, I'll learn how to do it myself. So I took a course, learned the game, man. And when I learned the game, and I called it the game because it's something that we have to learn to play. But when I learned the rules, the ins and out, man, I fell in love with it because it was so many things from a financial standpoint that nobody ever told me. Right. Like nobody ever told me any of this that I was learning. And so when I was I ended up working for one of the big box tax retailers in my first year. Yeah, my first year, man, I was a beast because I'm every person that had a business that sat down with me. I was like, man, did you know this? Did you know you can whoop? They was like, nah, ain't nobody ever said that. I'm like, I know, ain't nobody ever told me. And so I fell in love with it, man. And that's what started. And um I just kind of grew up from there. And I think, to be honest with you, the only reason I left the big box tax retailers is because they limited me. Like I wanted to teach, and I wanted to go out there and say, yo, we really need to tap into these markets. We need to go into the minority markets and set up educational courses and do this and the other. And they like, yeah, no, we got to get the money. So I like, yeah, no, I'm on my own. So um, yeah, I left. Yeah, became the self-employed tax guy thanks to my community.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, y'all know, just full transparency, y'all know I talk about the big box shops, but there are a lot of good people that come out of them, and they stay out of them because they can't deal with the shenanigans. But
Exactly.
I wanted to bring Tyrone on because I know he was a victim of tax scams. So
Yes,
who better to talk about it than someone who was formerly scammed?
that part.
Now, real quick, you ain't got I don't want to bore the people, but real quick, how did you get scammed?
Um, Really, I had somebody. It was funny, right? This. It was my wife's brother who recommended this individual, and this individual stated that they were the expert because they worked for the big box people. And they left and they got the training, so they know what they're doing. And you know, I was green, man. I had no idea what this individual was talking about. And my wife and I had married, we had our kid, and she was like, yeah, no, we gonna file y'all separate, and you gonna take the kids, this and the other. Yeah, I see the eyebrows raising. But me, I'm like, okay, whatever, cool. I'm paying you because you're the expert, right? Come to find out, man, the IRS was like, prove everything, and we couldn't prove nothing. Ended up having to pay all the money back, plus penalties, plus interest. It was just the absolute worst. And that's why I made a promise that day, like never again will that happen to me, because it was a nightmare. So I got scammed because I just uh, blindly trusted the individual who was, supposedly helping me. And so the scam is, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Right. But warning, right? Warning. If you are married, legally married, and you're not filing jointly or separately, but you're electing to show the IRS that you are married, you're breaking the law.
Man.
I know a lot of us like to file and say we're out of household with the kids to get higher earning credit, higher tax refunds. But you're technically committing fraud. A lot of y'all don't know that. I get it. I probably need to talk about that more. But you just made me think about that, because we're both into the education part.
Yes.
We want our people to thrive, right?
Absolutely.
And so, we have to put out these things. Some people think I'm a Debbie Downer all the time, and I'm not. I'm just like, yo, watch out for that pothole, because I know you just got some new tires and them rims look shiny, and that's going to cost you. And I just want you to avoid the potholes. So I give you the warning so you can avoid the potholes.
That's all we want. Just do good. I was thinking that earlier today. Like, man, I feel like all my content that I put out is like anti something, right? Like it's me. Oh, here come Tyrone again. He about to crash the party with this boring legal nonsense. It's like, dude, but I'm trying to save y'all for some things that I've seen happen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, all right, I think I'm gonna chill talking about the LLC people for a while.
No, don't chill. Tyrone done did a whole service. And y'all know when somebody does something great, we have to do what? Give them the horns.
Oh man,
So we bring
appreciate
out
it.
the sound. So there's a story behind this. I've been trying to find that sound. Now everybody uses that sound. If you listen to any dance hall, any Jamaican music, you know that sound,
Yes.
right? But I had a different sound. Y'all heard the horn. It was like a big airship horn. Brother Tyrone hooked me up, and now I'm good to go. Now I got all kinds of goodies, y'all. We gonna
Yeah,
have
see, hey.
a good time tonight. But let's get into this now. Before I get into this, I gotta burn my candle so I can get
Get the vibe going.
get the vibe right, get the feng shui going, right?
Yeah.
Get some sage going. But what's the one tax scam that drives you crazy?
Oh, me, the biggest one personally is the LLC. And the reason I say it's the LLC, because when people, from a tax perspective, the few things that I've heard, or well, you said the biggest one, is to start an LLC when you're a W-2 employee so you can reduce your taxes. That's the biggest. That one right there is the one that really grinds my gears, because it's educating people to purposely commit tax evasion, which is illegal, right? Like, I get tax avoidance. That's one thing. That's 100% legal. You are able to avoid taxes. We encourage you to avoid as many taxes as possible. But when you purposely do something with the intent to defraud the IRS, that's illegal. That's tax evasion. And you have so many people confidently go on social media and say, hey, if you want to save, and it's specific, they give the very specific number. They say, if you want to save $10,000 in taxes, form an LLC. And I'm like, how does that work? Right. And so that, to me, that is the biggest scam that I'm seeing people encourage other people to do. And it's crazy. Oh, look at you.
And so Tyrone did a whole series on Instagram. Is this on YouTube as well?
Yeah. It's funny.
Okay.
I literally just did like the LLC Mythbusters. It's a 6-series video. And it's going out every day this week. I think today number 3 went out on YouTube. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to number 1. Let's see if we can pull this up. Number 1. I gotta turn the sound on.
Separate you from your business. Are you really separated? Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Let's say I decide to form an LLC. According to the myth, the moment I do that, there will be 2 of me.
I'm so jealous.
Why?
Right now.
Because I've somehow, some way separated myself into 2 people. But here's the truth about it. Even though we are legally 2 different separate entities, we are still one and the same. Meaning that if something happens to me, the LLC will feel it. And vice versa. Here's another example. When I put money into the business bank account, yes, it goes to the LLC, but if the LLC loses the money, that's my money that it lost. That part. And in the case of a lawsuit, if the LLC doesn't have enough money to cover the damages, guess what? As the owner, I have to cover the balance. Yeah. Myth number 1.
So that's pretty fly. You done got the split screens. Like you got some green screen going.
I figured out a way. You know what's the key to that? A tripod. Make sure the camera don't move. As long as you do that, you can split the screen. I was like, all right, there's a little spot on my floor. And I was like, all right, this is going to be my marker. I'm going to stand on this side of the spot for this shot. I'm going to stand on this side of the spot for that spot. And I just split the screen in 2, and there it was. I'm like, cool, a little movie magic.
I like it. So as you can see, me and Tyrone are both tax geeks, and I'm so cool with that, right? We got lights. See, he got lights. I got lights. Same microphone. Well, different microphone. Same board.
Yeah.
All of this, though, to be better educators. So
Yes.
we're trying to educate folks. Now, going back to the point of the first myth, you can separate yourself from your business if you operate your LLC properly. The
Yes.
problem is most people don't operate it properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I know you were going, you kind of drew it out longer because you wanted to drive the point home. But when folks get an LLC to save on taxes, when you're a single member LLC, there is no tax savings.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The IRS doesn't even care about your LLC.
Man, absolutely.
People get mad at
Absolutely.
me when I say that.
It you know, it sounds offensive, but it's the truth. I mean, if they do the research, it's considered a disregarded. Like the whole word disregarded, like they just flick you. You are disregarded. They don't care. It literally says that. You are a disregarded entity. That's
So
their words, not ours.
facts. And so Tyrone, what is a disregarded entity?
Well,
How
I
do they
mean,
file taxes?
well, when you're a disregarded entity, you are treated this. You're the same as a sole proprietor. The same exact, which means that you are bound by the same exact rules, laws, and regulations as a sole proprietor. So there's different levels, right? You have the state level down here, and you have the federal level up here where things happen. The IRS looks as LLCs like they state things. We don't care about them. We let the state deal with them. They ain't doing nothing up here. The rules is going to be the same. Everything that y'all do with LLCs, stay at the state. We don't care about. Just disregard it.
Yep.
That's exactly how that works, right? And I try to tell people, even with the idea of the separation, yes, there is, like you said, you absolutely can be separated. But to me, separation comes when the business evolves enough to be 1000% independent of its owner.
Well
that's
capitalized. That's what he's talking about.
exactly
That's the word for the day.
that is
Capitalized.
the word for the day. Capitalized, meaning that it no longer depends on its owner for pretty much anything outside of management. You know, but my problem is people jump in, and I guess the point of that video was to get behind the psychology. But people are like, oh, if you get an LLC, you won't be impacted. I'm like, yo, bro, if you put $1,000 into your LLC and it lost it, you lost that $1,000. You know, you still gonna be impacted. You feel me? So
Absolutely.
don't rush into it per se.
All right, so that's tax scam or number one. I would say tax scam number two for me, same vein. Get your LLC so you can apply for business credit. And every time I hear that, you know what I think?
You big dummy, you big dummy, you big dummy, you dummy.
Right.
That's what I think. I hear
Yeah.
that because not that business credit isn't important. It is important.
Absolutely.
But we're talking about people who have no idea what their business is, no idea how they're going to sell their goods or services, no idea how they're going to market their goods or services.
Absolutely.
And it's like, we're just going to get business credit for what? And the crazy thing is, I've seen people start business, get business credit, and then wreck their business. And they're working themselves out of hole right now.
Man.
6-figure type business. And it's like,
Woo.
you're putting the cart before the horse.
Yes.
You're putting the cart
Yes.
for the horse. So,
Man, let me add to that scam, because I've actually been in rooms where I had to excuse myself abruptly because the conversation was, you know, we gonna form this LLC, and we forming it for the purposes of getting business credit so we can get the money and then file bankruptcy. So we got this money, but we not responsible.
hold on,
Bro.
hold on.
You big dummy, you big dummy, you big dummy, you dummy.
Yeah, I was like, wait, you know, it don't work like that. Like I'm glad you said it's the biggest scam, because people think that, oh, I'm a former LLC, and the next day apply for business credit and be approved because I technically have a business. And I'm like, it
Don't
don't
work
work
like
like
that.
that. Yeah, it
Don't
don't
work
work
like
like that. If you're doing it that way, you're gonna definitely do a personal guarantee, which they gonna base it off your personal credit, and you can bankrupt it if you want, but that means you now personally liable. So,
And
man,
yes, I know there's all kinds of people who are doing trade lines and seasoning the trade lines, which from what I understand is actually illegal, but
mhm,
I'm not the credit person. But do it right. Understand what your business is. Understand what your why is. Understand how you're going to fund it. If you have a 9 to 5, that's cool. I hate John
right,
Chaney, right? But
right,
use your job to then finance your business. That can then
absolutely,
finance your freedom. But it's steps,
absolutely.
baby steps, baby steps. Take your
I
time.
don't believe that, man. I've even heard people. They the reason they get away with it because a lot of people say no PG, no personal guarantee, right? So what they do in the place where you're supposed to put your social, they put their EIN number, right? Because your EIN has the same digits as your social. It's
Yep.
just the dash is different. So instead of putting their social security number in there, they put the EIN number in. And I'm like, bro, that is fraudulent to the max. You are literally lying on the application, which is a federal offense, right? Because those fundings is most likely federally insured. So man, you talk about a tax scam, bro. That's probably that. We can probably go all day now that you mentioned all these things that people are encouraging people to do is wild. It is wild.
I mean, we probably saw the biggest crime ever to happen in the century.
Oh, with the PPP
PPP.
boys.
You big dummy, you big dummy, you big dummy. You dummy.
Yeah, bruh, the PPP boys. I can't believe somebody was bold enough to go on social media and be like, "Yo, we scammed them. Look at what we got."
Not only that, right? I don't understand why people think it's just okay to lie about stuff. And not judging anybody, but some stuff you ain't had a business in a day in your life, and you just gonna fill out paperwork that's coming from the federal government. You're gonna tell them you got hundreds of employees applying for millions of dollars in stimulus and PPP funds.
Yeah,
You ain't got a clue, and
yeah,
a lot of people got it. So, I mean, there is fault on the side of the government,
yep.
but the government folks ain't going to jail.
Right,
You
right,
are,
exactly.
you
And
know.
they ain't finished yet.
No, they're not finished at all. They're not finished at all. Sadly. All right. So what else you got? What else you got? What other drive you crazy? I mean, Mister whole
Oh,
LLC
I
scam
got another
series.
one. I got man. I'm gonna talk about the LLC. I just did, like I said, 6 videos on this one. So the next one, I laughed at this because this came from another person. There was a tax professional, right? I don't know what their credentials were, but I just know they were in the tax game. They encouraged,
Allegedly.
well, let's say yes, keyword allegedly. They encouraged an individual who is a student getting financial aid, has a business, but of course, financial aid is dependent upon your income, right? You qualify based on what your income is based is what you qualify for. So they encourage this individual to get an LLC because they would be able to hide the business income from financial aid. Bro, y'all saw that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And I'll say, wait a minute, what? The individual, like, yeah, the tax person. I guess the tax person was their client, and they was asking for advice. And I level with my community. They come to me and be like, "Hey, Unc, I just heard this. Is this true?" And because it always gives me the content, like, man, no, there's something else for me to educate the people on. But when I heard this, I was like, having an LLC is not going to hide your income. Like, it you it's not. Like, I was kind of speechless. So that's another scam that I've heard as far as taxes goes. And it's funny, it all involves the LLCs. I've even heard some people, and I think I did a video on this a while back with some dude named Bandman Kevo. He was made it
Oh,
real
man,
popular.
man. Bandman Kevin. I think that, yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
when
the
he
credit guy, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just know somebody sent me his video about him avoiding child support because he had an S-Corp. And I was like, don't work like that either. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, y'all, we got to quit thinking that there's these entities hide money. Like it don't work like that.
Now, with the S-Corp, people think that just because you can show your W-2, that there might not be any other pursuit or investigation of funds.
That part.
Sometimes that works out for the person. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean,
A
I
lot
was
of times it
transparent.
doesn't.
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
that depending on your state, county, jurisdiction, judge, if they don't ask for tax records, you may just be able to get away with that because you can at that point dictate what you want to pay yourself for your W-2.
Right.
But you know, that don't work in all cases, especially if the IRS wants to come in. Is that reasonable? Like if you claim you a millionaire making all these millions of dollars and yet you paying yourself a couple of $100, that's not reasonable wages, right? So, now the IRS is going to be on you. So, what me and my man here is trying to do is really just keep y'all going.
Keep alive. Stay
Keep you
alive.
alive. Yeah, just stay alive. Like, listen to what we telling you, play the long game and win.
Now, before we go any further, for everybody that's in the listening audience or watching on the replay, you can always find these on YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, Spotify as well, right? So you can always listen to the replays. But for y'all that are listening, what's some of the craziest tax things you've seen? I would love to see what y'all think. And today we can do something a little bit different, trying to step my game up. So if anybody wants to call in, feel free to call in 484-278-1357. 484-278-1357. Now, don't be crazy, because I'll cut on you. I'll bang on y'all. Don't cut. Keep it professional. All right.
Nice.
But real quick, let's get to some of these comments. I just want to speak to some of the folks.
Okay.
So I see Jose's in the building. What's up, Jose? All right, Big Daddy still rocks 29. Big Daddy, you want to change that name? I keep telling you, I can't be calling you Big Daddy. Explore Sense, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Great stories, how you got started and to watch people you think are an expert. Facts, right?
Facts. Yeah.
Yes, everybody's not an expert. Many people use HOA incorrectly. For everybody that doesn't know what HOA is head of household. All right, you right. Now, some people think because you pay your bills and you got a house that you're the head of the household, but you need a dependent, usually a child and or a parent, to be head of household. There's some other rules, but I don't want to bore y'all to death. But just remember that some of these people who sound good, speak well, present themselves in a shiny suit are really wolves in sheep's clothing. So just keep that in mind.
Talk to them. Let them know.
All right. Jose says, please post his channel in the chats. Absolutely. It's a self-employed guy. He's the man on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Like, he got me so beat. His channel is doing the daggone thing, but I'll definitely post that, Jose. Definitely post that. All right, Jose says part of that is because while folks are advocating for LLCs, they aren't setting them up properly. Here's the reality. I would venture to say, and Tyrone, tell me if you disagree. I would venture to say 95% of people, maybe 90%, 90% of people don't need an LLC.
I'm 1000% agree. I would raise that number even up to say maybe 97.
Yeah, because you saw it started at 95, right? But
yeah, I would. I mean, because it's. I don't know, man. And I feel like you and I, we are, battling uphill, trying to get people to really understand that, they don't need an LLC. One, people say I need an LLC because it's going to protect me and my assets. I'm like, okay, I get that. I understand asset protection. I understand the reasoning. I don't want to discourage you, but what assets do you have that's worth protecting? Let's start there, right? Like, what assets do you have? And when they give me the blank look, and I'm like, my point. And again, not trying to, knock nobody, because our goal is to get there. Let's get you to some assets. But in order to acquire assets, we have to have a better relationship with money. And have a better relationship with money means we have to understand that we don't need to frivolously spend money on things that's not going to make us money. And how is an LLC going to make you money, right? We talk about assets. I love telling people, I say, well, the IRS defines everything you own as an asset, to the point where they actually define capital assets in a negative manner, right? A capital asset is not this, because it's easier to name everything that's a capital asset. So with that in mind, the draws you have on is an asset. Are they worth protecting? Are you really? I'm just saying, if that's the case. But when we had that conversation, they like, yeah, right. But I'm gonna guarantee you, bro, like every client that sits at my desk that has an LLC because they was referred to me or they're thinking about it, once we go through the conversation, they always be like, well, I guess I don't. I'm like, I know. And they were like, well, what's the point? Like, there is a point to an LLC, right? There will become a time when an LLC will make sense, but let's get you there first. Coming out the gate with one, it's pointless.
Yeah, I mean, it's like sometimes you just want to grab people and just be like, I don't know what y'all doing.
Yeah, I'm about to say, go hit the button.
Just want to grab them.
Brothers and sisters,
yes,
I don't know what this world is coming to.
It's coming to social media. It's like controlled everything. But to add a couple points, right? I've seen a lot of people get LLCs, don't need them. And then they don't get no insurance because they feel the LLC will protect them. But many people don't realize that. And Tyrone kind of talked about that. He's running.
I'm about to show him. People think LLC provides coverage, and I'll be like, yeah, it do. That layer of coverage, there it is right there. That's the layer of coverage an LLC provides for you. About the thinnest paper. If this is your business, that's that layer of coverage you're going to get.
You would actually be better off having $1 million in coverage, liability coverage.
Yes.
That will probably do more for you to protect your assets than your LLC would. Not to mention, Tyrone hails from the great state of California.
Oh, man.
What happens when you set up an LLC in California?
Off
great
the
state.
Off the top. The moment that you set up an LLC in California, 4 months later, and here's what a lot of people don't realize, 4 months later, if you set up your LLC on January 1st, come April 1st, the state of California is going to be like, where's my money? We need our $800. Whether you made profit or not, state of California going to want $800 off top. Where's my money? It's going to be like, I don't know if we got any Family Guy fans in here, but that episode when Stewie was going after Brian, where's my money? Yeah, Stewie's going to be the state of California, and most LLC owners is going to be Brian. It's going to be terrible. 4 months after, bro, that's, and I try to tell people, I'm like, okay, like I had the young man in my office around tax time, a brand new LLC, made no income, had zero income. But now not only did he have to pay the $800 to the state of California, right? He had to pay me all these additional forms because California requires LLCs to file additional state forms. And I'm like, bro, you paid all this money for what?
Because it sounds good.
And that's the point. It sounds good, right? Like people on social media, like, oh, yeah, if you don't have an LLC, something wrong with you. You must don't care about your family and their future. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know.
I can't tell you how many people that work in California that didn't realize that they owe the state FSB, right? Franchise
Tax Board, FTB.
FTB, right? They're like gangsters. Sometimes they know more, the FTB in California, they know more than the IRS does.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would tread lightly if I was in Cali. But there's a couple of states. Cali is 800 off the top. Maryland's 300.
Mhm.
New York is 5 or
I'm about to
800.
say New York is up there with Cali too, though. Yeah.
Yeah, Massachusetts is either 5 or 8, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
So just be careful, y'all.
Yeah.
Just be careful, and avoid some of the other big shop legal places that will tell you to do these quote unquote entity formations, the LLCs, your S-Corps. Now, the S-Corp conversion is the other one that drives me crazy. That's another big one. But give us a minute. We'll come back to that. I want to finish speaking to everybody in the chat. I don't want to be rude. Got to talk to the folks.
Got to talk to our people.
All right, Jonathan. Money Talks with Jonathan. Everybody subscribe to Money Talks with Jonathan. Thank you for being here, Jonathan. Appreciate that. All right, Explorer says the crazy thing is so many fake businesses receive funding, but not legit ones that were really in need, and some had closed businesses. That's a fact, right? All right, Jose says adding additional dependents to get a bigger tax return.
Yeah. I do be entertained by the people be like, hey, how many kids I need? How many you got?
They borrowing kids, buying kids. It's almost like human trafficking when it comes to tax time.
Oh, hey, I mean, you like when somebody ask me that, I'll be like, why? You human trafficking? Make them feel bad.
All right, Explorer says the myth of opening an LLC for business credit to purchase a G-Wagon.
Oh, don't get
and
that started.
write off full depreciation. Now, Tyrone and I did a live on Instagram last week before last.
Yeah, it was last week. Yeah,
the days run. COVID done got my mind crazy. So, what do you think about that? She brought it up. Explorer Sense brought it up.
When we talk about scam, okay, let me, because I try to be sensitive to the content creators, because on one hand, I do appreciate individuals, giving
Hold
our
on.
people.
Let's no sensitivity. They are.
You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy.
Come on, okay,
You dummy.
okay. I mean, but
And I feel that way because I'm gonna tell you why. So there's a couple of tax groups, black tax groups, that I've kind of created in and around.
okay,
Many of them are great citizens, are great community members. They will go to many of these people and say, hey, that's not right. But you know what they say?
It's only entertainment.
wow.
That's what they all say. It's only entertainment, right? They're just putting it out. Some of them will say that. Some of them will turn off comments. Some of them will just ignore it, right? They don't care. It happens often. If any of my tax sisters or tax brothers are in there, please chime in and share some of your experiences. I mean, we talk about these, so I know it firsthand. And there are repeat offenders, right? There are people who credential, experienced people, tax experience out the wazoo. So, hey, that ain't quite right. Because tax is very nuanced, right?
Yes.
Tyrone and I can both make $100,000, have kids, have wives in the same bad businesses, but a tax deduction for me may not work for him, and vice versa.
Right, absolutely.
We can even be in the same business, which we are in the same business, but same thing could be true. Something that's ordinary and necessary for me may not be ordinary and necessary to him to somewhat of a degree.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, well, okay.
You hit a vein. Sorry.
Okay. Let me see if I can lighten my position, because
no, I don't want you to lighten it. Give it to him the way it is.
Man, okay.
Well, I'm family conversation.
I'm not. The reason I hate the G-Wagon play is because what about the next year? Right? Like, I get it. Granted, it's true. You can get a G-Wagon, you can Section 179, full depreciation. But that's only assuming that you're going to be profitable in that year, right? Because depreciation, the whole idea over depreciation is to spread the cost of that purchase over whatever amount of time that is 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. If it's rental property, 29 and a half, commercial property, 39, right? It's to spread that cost over the year. So as you grow in business, you'll have deductions available to you. So if you get a G Wagon and depreciate the full thing, zero out your income, you zero out your income for that year. What about next year? Right? Hopefully, as a true business owner, your goal is to grow and grow your revenue, right? So your goal is to have more money next year than you had this year, right? So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go buy another G Wagon, do it again. You're gonna do that every single year you make a profit. And if you're like, yeah, for those who think I'm gonna repeat the process, I'm gonna buy the G Wagon, depreciate it, get rid of that one, go get a new one. Then what about depreciation recapture? Right? Like it to me, the problem is it's not
All right,
thought
hold on.
all the
hold
way
on.
through.
You hit them with a tax doozy.
Oh.
Depreciation recapture. Please explain that to the folks and some of the real estate folks too.
Right. So recapture is just like kind of pretty what the name says, right? If you have a how can I mean? I'm trying not to sound so tax technical. So you buy an item, you depreciate it, you get that deduction. Let's say you take the full deduction, and the next year you say, you know what, I'm no longer using it for business. But the IRS is like, well, hold up. We didn't already gave you the credit for it. So now there's this calculation that us taxpayers is going to have to do to figure out how much of that depreciation you receive. We got to capture back. And when we capture it back, it's treated as ordinary income. So then it just increased your taxable income. So that's something else to think about. Like you can't keep doing this. Should I say, to summarize it, the G-Wagon play is not scalable. I guess if I just had to really summarize it, like it's not scalable for somebody who's genuinely trying to do business.
I would agree. So many, and there's more reasons, but I did a review on this before, so I'm just sharing mine. I shared yours, I'll share mine.
Yeah, look at that.
Let's see.
Weight is one of the reasons why so many people.
But who cares? It requires over 6,000 pounds doesn't mean a business can actually afford to pay for it. Most businesses won't be able to take advantage of that tax deduction. That tax deduction for most businesses wouldn't pass the muster with the IRS. Why? Because they will say it's not an ordinary and necessary expense. When listening to the social media financial gurus, please do your research. All of this stuff does not apply to them. Personal finance is personal. Everything does not work for everybody.
G-Wagons weigh more than 6,000 pounds, and that weight is one of the reasons why so many people.
So that's my thing. Like everything's not for everything. Everything's not for everybody. And personal finance is personal. And people just think, oh, that looks nice. It's shiny. It's expensive. It's fly. And I can stand in it. But boy, oh boy, when you learn about all the back end stuff.
Man, that's beautiful. Can I, because you brought up a point that I think a lot of people need to know too about it not being everything for everybody, right? Like there was a court case, and I love reading the court cases, man.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things that I encourage people, like, just don't look at social media, but go see if that's been vetted in court, because if that's the only reason we really worried about it, right? Like if we ain't worried about it going to court, like the courts didn't exist, we can do whatever we wanted to do, right? I can write off the air I breathe if that's the case, right? But because it do end up in court, I look at the cases, and there was one regarding uniforms, because that's another thing on a lot of people on social media. I heard somebody an influencer say he can write off his haircut because it's in his photo. And I was like, man, boy, y'all about to get some people in trouble. But it was a court case with a famous tennis player out of Chicago. He joined the tennis club, right? And he was buying the uniform for the tennis club. And that was compared with another lady who was a manager at like a YSL shop, right? And she had to buy the clothes because they demanded that she did. And it's amazing. Two scenarios, right? Like both of those people would think that me buying this uniform is ordinary and necessary for me in my career, in my business, but the courts are different. The dude who was a tennis player in Chicago, famous tennis player in Chicago, I can't think of his name, but the court said, yeah, we get that you had to buy tennis uniforms, but you didn't have to buy that brand of tennis uniforms, right? Same with what you said. Yeah, we get you need a vehicle to get back and forth, but you didn't have to buy that particular vehicle. And the courts denied it, threw it out. They said, we're not going to allow you to write this off because you didn't have to buy that particular brand. You know what I'm saying? On the other end, with the lady who was a manager and she had to buy the YSL clothing, it made sense because she was made to as part of her employment. So they allowed it, right? So it's kind of like just because it's approved by law don't mean that it's going to be approved by law in your scenario, you know, so you definitely got to be careful with that.
So here's an interesting thing. There was a gentleman who worked at a polo store. He brought all polo clothes.
Okay.
IRS challenged it, went to tax court.
Wow.
What do you think happened?
It depends. Let me ask this. Was it required by management?
That was his argument. They said no.
Because if it wasn't required by management, I'm going to say the IRS threw it out.
Threw it out because it was everyday clothing. You could
Right,
wear polo
exactly.
anywhere.
Exactly.
And, you know, yes, it has the little horsey on it or the big horsey, depending on, you know, which level he got.
Right.
They said this is regular stuff. Get out of here.
Right.
So, you know, I know a lot of people want to write off clothing. Clothing can be very, very tricky.
Yes.
It can be very, very tricky. And then what happens is when the IRS says, no, we don't agree, and the taxpayer says, no, I agree with my position, I want to go forward, and maybe they do some kind of appeal and turn it to the IRS, it doesn't work out, then it goes to tax court. You have to go whatever tax court says. Now, that sets the precedent. But here's the thing. What a lot of people don't realize, and I'm getting a little technical right now. Even if you are found, let's say you win in tax court, the IRS still may waive or disallow somebody that has the same situation as you down the line because they know everybody's not going to take it to court. So it gets a little tricky.
It gets expensive. Ain't nobody going to tax court for free.
Yes. Well, I mean, you can go per se and represent yourself. I wouldn't advise it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't advise it.
Even still, man, I try to tell, but there's a cost associated with that. Even if you go by yourself, that's time away from you handling your business, which means you're missing money. There's always a cost associated with it. Right. So listen if you want to.
Debt-free dad is in the building.
Debt-free dad, all right.
Yep. Another lawyer loves to go over.
He said Stewie whooped. Where's my money?
I gotta find that one.
Yeah.
But boy, everybody go follow Debt-Free Dad over on YouTube, y'all. All right. So, I'm sorry. Also follow Explore Sense as well. My bad. All right. Explore Sense says I worked for a nonprofit in PA and received donations from a Cali address. And they hit us with that free. Ooh.
Hey, I'm going to tell y'all how I love California. So California, if you're listening, don't kick me out your state. But I'm also going to tell y'all how cold Cali is. Cold. There was a court case back in the day.
Tupac was wrong. There ain't no California love when it comes to the FDP. No.
Yeah, hey, no, it was California. Hey, California love California. I mean, this I'm telling you because this court case had to do with airline pilots flying over California space. California, and this went all the way up to the Supreme Court. California wanted to tax the airline pilots who were flying over their space during that time. Like, so if you was flying from whatever and you flew over California for an hour worth of your pay, California wanted to tax, bro. It was crazy. The courts denied it because they was like, that's ridiculous. but that's just how intense California can be when it comes to their taxes. Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like a job tax wherever you go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, was that started in Cali?
No, I think it was started in Cali, but I think that was what, Michael Jordan?
Yeah, but it was still started in Cali.
Yeah, I think Cali started it because Jordan came out here and whooped on us, and then left, and they were like, well, we gonna tax him, and then other states followed. Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Crazy.
job tax dates the 1960s. States started aggressively taxing some of the non-resident athletes when California imposed a tax on earnings of Chicago Bulls
Mm-hmm.
who traveled to L.A.
Yep.
Yep. Everybody kind of followed suit.
Yep.
So it didn't start with Jordan, but Jordan perpetuated it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little fun tax fact today. Jeez Louise. Don't mess with Cali. But that's why a lot of people are moving from Cali, though. They can't afford it.
Yeah, man, and I get it. Being a business in California, I got a letter from Los Angeles County tax assessor. Ain't never been to my office, but I got a bill, and they was like, you owe, $300 some in tax. I'm like, what's this for? And they was like, you got a business? I said, yes. In Los Angeles County, yes. You have a desk in your office? Yes. Well, that's a use tax. I'm like, what? I'm like, I can see why businesses are heading eastbound, leaving Cali, because y'all taxing for everything. It was crazy, bro. But
jeez,
yeah, the cost of doing business in Cali.
JT Coins, what up, brother? Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm always glad to see you here. Everybody follow JT Coins. JT actually makes coins from breaks rings and jewelry from coins. A lot of this stuff's dope. I'm trying to save up my money now so I can order a couple pieces. I'm not a big jewelry guy, but this stuff's dope. This stuff's dope. And but so JT, when we doing the show, man, I need you on. All right, Deaf Free Dad says, yeah, sole proprietor works for like 80% of new businesses. All right, the attorney says 80%. I started with 95, now I'm at 90. Tyrone said 97, though. So it's somewhere between that, y'all.
The CEO, what the trash vegans or the slutty vegans, right?
She's the one who did all that. Oh man, I was trying to stay away from that. Damn it.
He didn't pull you into it.
No, because I really like her, right? I really like her. There was a meme floating around. I'm gonna try to find it real quick. There was a meme floating around talking about one of the brothers said it was dumb, other brother said it wasn't. Let's see if she still has it up on her.
Oh, I talked about that. The two brothers that was doing the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, because somebody sent me that, and I was like, I like it. I understand. LLCs for everybody. I think, again, I'm thinking the LLCs, man, it's just like the LLC is social currency. Like that's, if you're able to talk anything about an LLC, you are somehow, some way enlightened and educated, right? So it gives people that element to themselves, like, oh, I'm gonna give everybody an LLC. That's a boss move. When really you actually did nothing for the people.
Well, I'm trying to find it now. Let's see. I'm on Pinky.
But let me see. She probably didn't. Maybe there was a psychological aspect. Oh, I got an LLC. Let me finally go out here and start my business. Maybe it kickstarted a few businesses that maybe wouldn't have started if they didn't get that from her. Always try to see the light on things, but yeah.
I mean, I get it. That's what tax accountants do. That's what accountants do, right? We're able to hold two competing thoughts in our brains at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what objectivity is about, right? But sometimes you just got to call a thing a thing.
Yeah, I mean, but like he said there, great marketing, because now everybody's talking about slutty. Like, I have never heard a slutty vegan until somebody sent me the video with them two brothers. So was it great marketing? Marketing, absolutely. Because now slutty vegan is in the eyes of everybody, right?
I guess. And listen, I love what she did with Slutty Vegan, right? We're talking about Pinky Cole. We love what she did. Totally awesome. Now I'm trying to find it on TikTok and it's not. It's got all this stuff. Once we need to. All right, here we go. I think I can find it now. Maybe not. All right, I'm trying to find it, y'all. I am sorry. Marcus got us on a whole tangent now down a rabbit hole.
Yes, sir.
Because that's how I get. Sometimes I get locked in and I can't do nothing else. But all right, hold on. I found a news report. We can talk about what it is.
While you looking, I think I got a copy of it too. I don't know how I would do it, but let me see if I can find the
You
clip
can
I
share
did.
You can.
Well, I think if you go to my Instagram page, kind of like you did the other one, you'll see the clip on there.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let's talk about Slutty Vegan. So Slutty Vegan gifts LLCs to Clark Atlanta graduates. And let's see if I can blow this up.
And there was an unexpected graduation gift that helps seniors on the path to entrepreneurship today. Clark Atlanta's commencement speaker, Aisha Pinky Cole, gifted each class of 2022 graduate an LLC. Cole owns popular Atlanta restaurant Slutty Vegan. Fox 5's Joy Duke spoke with students and parents who shared their reaction to the surprise.
And the spirit of entrepreneurship was absolutely on CAU's campus earlier today as students received the ultimate gift to start their own business from one of Atlanta's most successful business owners. Clark Atlanta University graduates walked off stage with more than just their degrees on Saturday.
And I walked in as, a graduate and senior. I walked out, as a business owner.
Commencement speaker and former CAU alum Aisha Pinky Cole offering them an opportunity to jumpstart their own dreams of being business owners.
I have partnered with Varo Bank to provide every single graduate in this audience with a new LLC and a path to entrepreneurship.
Coretta Cannon was one of...
Now, she partnered with Varo Bank. And so she's at a black school, and I looked up Varo Bank, and it's not a black bank. At a black school promoting Varo Bank. Great advertisement for them. Great partnership for them. Not so much for the students, in my opinion.
After seeing that, because I've never being transparent, I never saw that clip. I only heard it from the two brothers who had the argument. That was the extent of my research into this vegan gifting everybody LLCs. But after seeing that, man, that is disheartening to me personally. And the reason it's disheartening because people now are under the assumption that this is what makes me an entrepreneur. That was the whole sentiment. And to me, that makes me sad because that is not what makes you an entrepreneur. You feel me? Like having an LLC does not make you a boss. It does not make you it doesn't do anything for you as far as business goes. What makes you a business owner is having a product or service that solves a solution for a customer and the customer paying you for it. That when that happens, you have a business. When you have a product and or service and somebody pays you for it, guess what? It's a business. Why? Because you have to report that as a taxable transaction on a Schedule C, which is a business tax form. That's what makes you a business. Having an LLC, like, and even in news, the entrepreneur spirit was on there. No, entrepreneur spirit is really talking about, let's talk about some business plans. Let's talk about our business finances. Let's talk about projections. Let's talk about cash flow. Let's really talk about sitting up here and putting together a whole marketing platform. So when we launch, we good. We have a 5-year projection. We're going to last beyond the statistic that states that 93% of businesses will close their doors in 18 months because they ain't got no money. That's entrepreneur spirit.
And where does that stat come from?
That stat comes forward. Is it the Small Business Administration Office of Advocacy? That's a government statistic. They're the ones who looking and seeing this, and it's like, look, you done got me started.
Good. Start him up. Let's get fired. That's why I always say.
That's it. No, that right there kind of hurts.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
It's like if you are on and quote unquote popping, if you are popular, you're a great marketer, you've got great sense. Nowhere in any of that, like you said, was there any talk about what do you want to do with your life?
Right.
Do you really want to start a business?
Man,
And I know that is the end thing right now. Start a business, be a boss. I hate the term boss, by the way. It's so filled with egotism, but that's a whole other thing, right? Because listen, when you're a business, you're there to serve. You're there to be a servant, right? Not necessarily a placeman. I'm not saying that because some people get it confused, but you're there to serve and there to help people.
Absolutely.
And if you're really there as a real entrepreneur, your employees are, your customers are your bosses.
Yeah.
Your employees are your bosses. Technically, Southwest Airlines is one of the most successful publicly traded companies ever.
Mm-hmm.
What's their motto? Our employees come first, even before the customer.
Yeah. No,
even before the customer. That wins. Nobody's talking about the real stuff, the tangible stuff. It's all this she, foo, la, la, fluffy stuff. And it's like, wow, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? All right. So Deaf-Free Dad got us talking about. So anyway, all right, JT Coins is laughing at us about that wallet. What up, brother? How are you? Everybody go follow About That Wallet. Explore since you and the Ivy investor make sure to call out incorrect information. Sometimes I'll say it. She'll be in the comment sections before me. I'm not doing no more comments. I'm gonna tell you, if I feel the need, I'm just being honest with y'all, transparent. If I feel the need to comment, especially on somebody who I've identified on my tax scammer list.
Oh, you got a list.
I'll make content about it. I mean, they're all the usual suspects. And I hate to say it like that, but a lot of people, again, I get labeled a hater. Because the knee-jerk reaction is Kamari's hating. But then it's like, well, just wait a little while. Something will come out. And it always does. It always does.
Yeah.
It always does.
I love it, man. I mean, I think it used to bother me to be called a hater, right? But then I'm like, you know what? Let's go with it. Because when I made my first video speaking out about not really needing an LLC, man, I was called. I had never been insulted so bad in my life. Like somebody called me the ignorant king of the ghettoest people. I had some people was literally cussing me out. I was like, all I'm trying to do is tell y'all you don't really need it. I'm not saying, stop your life, stop living. You can start a business without an LLC, save some money, do good, be good to go, right? But man, people hate it, bro. But I just started responding like, well, prove me wrong. If I am wrong, prove me wrong. And I say this publicly because if anytime I make a statement that's incorrect, by all means, prove me wrong, because two things happen. I learn, the community learns, right? And as long as that's happened, we good.
Facts.
We are good to go. But nobody has yet to been able to prove anything that I've said incorrect. So I'm like, yeah, we going, like you said, well, let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see.
All right. So About That Wallet said, get tax technical. He was talking to you.
Uh-oh.
Go there. All right. JT Cohen says good information. And again, we're not saying not to get LLCs. We're not saying not to get G-Wagons. We're not saying to buy clothing.
Right.
Just understand what it's for, what it's there to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm absolutely. First of all, I want to make an
So
acknowledgement.
Is that a joke? Is that a joke?
I'm hoping that is.
I think he's trolling us. we just talked about that, but go ahead, Tyrone.
No, I just want the first thing I want to acknowledge is the individuals in your circle. All of them is about money. Debt-free dad, get to the wallet, all these people that you got in your circle is about money. So I don't know, is it like an invitation? Is it like a secret club? Is it a secret society? I just want to join so I can be around all these money people.
It's a secret society. All we ask is trust.
Gotcha. For sure.
And the trust part is, right, listen, you got to take an oath to do good by the people in our community. You already doing that. So you're already in the society.
Man, for sure. I appreciate it.
All right, so about the wallet, I don't know if that's a joke or real. If you didn't see it, Tyrone just talked about it. Normally, you cannot write off haircuts. Now, somebody's going to say, but what did they do with Steve Harvey's toupee when he was getting a haircut? That's a whole production, and that's a different thing. And it gets very technical, but your average person is not going to be able to write off haircuts and say it's normal and necessary, ordinary and necessary. So,
granted, yeah.
Meals and trips is another one that doesn't fit every situation. No, you have to really take a legitimate trip, fly somewhere. Like airplanes and automobiles comes into play here, right? You got to drive somewhere, you got to fly somewhere, you got to take the train somewhere. This year, though, if you spend at if you spend at a real restaurant, you can write off 100% of the meal this year only, and it has to be a real business expense.
Mm-hmm.
You're meeting somebody to talk about actual business,
mm-hmm.
client relationships, referrals, contracts, something along that line, something real, something tangible, not just I was on my lunch break because I'm a side hustler and I wanted to buy some McDonald's.
Right. I get a lot of people with that. And I was hungry, so I had to eat. And I'm like, well, that's not a deductible meal, you know. So it's like, yeah, I wish, right?
Oh, what's this? All right, so Debt-Free Dad says some judges be fanboying over celebrities. Conway Twitty, who was that?
Wow, Conway Twitty.
Who was that?
Conway Twitty's he's a country artist.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna say that. I don't listen to country, but I guess me and Debt-Free Dad kind of follow the same comedic animated shows, and Conway Twitty is always on Family Guy. So yeah.
Oh, y'all got a whole Family Guy thing going on. Okay.
No, but he said he had a commissioner in Jenkins versus commissioner. I'm going to have to go look at that case. Okay.
Jenkins versus commissioner. Listen, I love looking up tax cases, right?
Yeah, tax cases are
if you really want to learn about taxes, read tax cases. That's what one of the big wigs told me. I was already reading them, but when he said that, I was in hook, line, and sinker.
Cool. That means I'm on the right path. Doing the right thing.
So I just found, so this case happened in 1983. So just real quick, I'll pull it up. I went to the wikis because I didn't have time to do my research for the tax court. I know some of y'all be like, Wikipedia ain't no real research site. Guess what? It's a great place to start.
I'm about to say it's a good starting place, yeah.
Right, it's a good place to start. And Wiki will give you references. And it will give you an idea of where to go to next.
I'm about to say, at least it'll give you the summary.
Right. All right, so 1983, tax court held that payments Conway Twitty, a country singer, made to investors in a defunct restaurant business known as Twitty Burger, Inc., were deductible under Section 162 of the IRS Code as ordinary and necessary business expenses.
Okay.
Here's the facts. Petitioner Harold L. Jenkins was a known country music singer who was also known, that's his real name, had a musical performance since 1950. All right. In 68, Twitty Burger was formed by Conway along with approximately 75 friends and business owners. Ooh, talk about good economics.
Right. All right.
who invested money in Tweety Burger for the operations of Tweety Burger fast food restaurants in late 1970. Tweety Burger began to encounter financial difficulties, and nearly every Tweety Burger restaurant was closed in 1971. Although he had no assets with which to pay the debentures, debt, that's all debenture means, Conway decided to repay the investors the amount of their investments. Well, that's mighty noble of him.
That's a nice guy.
With future earnings. On his 1973-74 federal income tax, Conway deducted those total amounts
Wow.
of $92,892.46 and $3,600 respectively as ordinary and necessary expenses. Issue were the payments made by Conway Tweety to investors in a failed corporation known as Tweety Burger deductible as ordinary and necessary expenses of Conway business as a country music performer.
That's gonna be, I'm gonna have to go look at that one.
Yeah, I need a little bit more. My initial reaction, my initial thought is no, but the judge said yes. So I'm wondering what it is. But Jeffrey Dad just said that he's a fanboy.
Yeah.
So that shows something. That shows something. Good one, Jeffrey.
Good one. Jeffrey, definitely good one.
I need to have you on. About the Wallaces, what's the best bookkeeping software for taxes? I would say QuickBooks. I personally like QuickBooks. However, there's levels to this. There's levels to this. So some people will be good at using possibly FreshBooks. And Wave can also be good too. But
I like Zero.
Yeah, I've used Zero. I just kind of decided just to focus on QuickBooks. I ain't got time to be trying to figure out everything else.
Right.
But there you have it. Zero, right? But it really depends on where you're at in your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zero, QuickBooks, Wave, or FreshBooks. They're all kind of big contenders right now.
But I would like to ask, what's the purpose for getting bookkeeping software? Like, because if you're just trying to keep track of income and expenses, shit, Excel will work.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm a fan of getting used to paying the expense for the book, for the software. I'm going to get into the habit of using it because it just
I would say that,
easier. But you are correct, right? Remember I talked to y'all before about two things, holding two different thoughts and being objective. We just said something totally opposite, but we're both right. He's definitely right.
And I agree.
He's definitely right, you know? So, but when it comes time to print out reports, especially if you need owner financing or financing, the program is going to just make your life so much easier.
Absolutely. That part we do both agree. As I said, if you're just trying to get fresh starting and you just want to keep track, I'm down with Excel. But if you want to get into that, running reports and understanding what they mean and how they benefit the business, by all means,
right,
software is the way to go.
All right, about that bottle says, would Black banks partner going forward? Not sure what you mean by that.
I think we were referencing to the slutty vegan. She didn't partner with a Black bank.
Maybe.
I don't see why not. But, you know, do we give Black banks the opportunity, or do we still, as a Black community, have that stigma? Well, I don't trust other Black people with my money.
There's only one Black, and this is no shade. Y'all know I love my Black-owned businesses and I love my Black-owned banks, but there's only one bank that has more than $1 billion in assets and deposits.
Was that the One United?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that tells you something. That says a lot. That, you know what though? I know Mackenzie, what is her name? Mackenzie Scott, What's-Her-Com's ex-wife, Elon Musk's ex-wife, who got all the money in the settlement. Well, not all of it. A nice piece of it in the settlement.
Yeah.
She's been giving money to HBCUs and I believe some Black banks. I know Netflix has been giving to Black banks as well. Shouldn't say give. It's been depositing into Black banks. So maybe I could be wrong.
And recently, the owner of the LA Clippers, man, just invested $400+ million into a first Black-owned hedge fund firm. Venture
Really?
capitalist firm, yeah, and he stipulated that
was that
30%
was that backstage?
Oh
You know?
man, I look it up and show it to you. Another one again. I talked about on the Instagram because my point of that video was like, all right, here we got 400 million. Well, actually, I think it was 120 million because 30% of it had to be given or had to be set aside for funding Black-owned businesses. And so I was like, man, we got all this money coming in, but are we ready to receive it? Right?
Oh,
Like
wow.
without being fraudulent, without lying on paperwork, without like if they say, okay, applications is open, how many of us would really be in a position to go in and apply to get some of this money?
Well, we already know what happened. The first round of PPP, a lot of people got jammed up.
Yeah.
Why?
That part.
Why? Because they ain't have good books. And the crazy thing is, the PPP application was simple as pie.
Oh man, it was, bro. It was. It was
I
crazy.
didn't charge I should have charged, but I didn't charge my clients to do that. And some friends that I helped because I was actually trying to stay away from that because I already knew it was going to be a show, a whole.
I did. I think I did a couple, but when most people like, "Hey, you doing the PPP loan?" The minute the way they asked me, I immediately said no.
Yep.
Just because, hey, you no, nope, I don't know nothing about it. I'm not doing nobody's application. I'm cool.
Not at all. Not at all. All right, so I found it. It's Steve Ballmer.
Yes.
So Steve Ballmer, I forgot Steve Ballmer, the former CEO of Microsoft.
Yep.
He's like a major billionaire, a real billionaire. And no, billionaire does not mean you have $1 billion in the bank, but you're supposed to have a net worth of over $1 billion.
Yeah.
So
realized versus unrealized.
Black private equity funds get $400 million commitment from billionaire and Los Angeles Clippers owner Steve Ballmer.
There it is.
Wow. Now I'm wondering if it was Backstage Capital who got the money.
The name doesn't sound familiar, so it may be, but off the top of my head, I would have to go look it up and see myself.
So the funding is part of $400 million. The former Microsoft CEO and his wife, Connie Ballmer, invested this year into 4 vehicles centered on helping core insufficient insufficient capital accessible to Black American entrepreneurs, according to the Wall Street Journal. Well, guess what? I'm running all these ads, but I actually have a subscription to the Wall Street Journal, so I can just go to the source. Go to the source, people, as much as possible.
Absolutely.
All right, the Bombers provided a total of $150 million as anchor commitments to 2 new vehicles, one managed by investment bank Goldman Sachs, another one by GCM. I'm sure that's a Goldman Sachs kind of esque thing, with investment bank JP Morgan handling fundraising. These investments will use fund-to-fund strategies to back Black-owned or Black-managed firms. Okay, additionally, the Bombers committed a total of 250 to the vehicles managed by Ariel Investments. Y'all should know who Ariel is. Y'all know I talk about Ariel. I talk about John Rogers. I talk about Melody Hobson very, very often. 2 of my heroes in my mind. Even when I was institutional, when I managed institutional money, I always wanted to meet Melody Hobson. Actually, Melody and John Rogers, but never happened. Hopefully one day it will.
I'm about to say, not yet, bro. Not yet.
Not yet, right. We're going to put it into existence.
Yeah, exactly.
The money is not flowing to Black fund managers, said Ballmer. And for Black VCs I have talked to, it's just a little harder than for their white counterparts to raise that money. Of course, it's harder for them. All right, I'm gonna have to go to that one in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gonna talk about that one for sure. All right, so Black, I'm not sure what you meant by that. All right, you are an employee until you have employees. Even when you have employees, but even when you have employees, you're an employee. Warren Buffett is an employee.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all right. Good stuff, man. Soundboard is fire. Thank you, sir. I gotta be careful to make sure my levels aren't too high and blowing out your eardrums. A couple of y'all said, Kamari, the thing be too loud. It's like, make sure y'all awake. Y'all paying attention.
Exactly. We giving our game. Wake it up.
Blood sacrifice. Oh, Lord. That's what they be talking about. It's a secret society. What book should we read again? Read again about what, JT Coins? I got a lot. There were plenty of cases in my law and finance class. Yes, there were. There are a lot. Listen, just Google tax fraud. Google it. Or tax fraud court cases. You'll see wild people. Matter of fact, the IRS puts out, we'll probably go over this. I don't know if y'all remember this, but I went over some of the IRS's hit list as it relates to scams.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's a good matter of fact, I'll pull that one out. Just go over it real quick. Oh, look at this. Private dating chat girls. Welcome.
Oh man. Hey, sex workers pay tax too.
Yes, they do. No shame to the sex workers.
No shame to them.
All right. One United is a good bank from what I heard. I have to look at them. I use another black-owned bank. What bank do you use?
Yeah, put it in the list. I'd like to know.
Yep. That's right. Sex workers got to live too. They got to feed their babies and pay for college. So
Indeed.
Yeah. All right. So any other tax scams that blow your mind or totally appall you?
Oh man, let me see. I know we talked about the home office deduction or starting a business for purposes of writing off that. Talked about the G-Wagon, hiding money, the whole idea of separation. Man, I can't think of nothing else off the top.
Okay. All right.
Wait, what else?
So I'm gonna tell a lot of y'all, right? Beware of these phishing scams. Don't give anybody your information through text or your phone, because they're getting a lot of people.
They get, especially, with that being said, man, really pay attention to our elders, because they the ones who getting hit the worst.
Yes, they
are. Love my pops. He came to me the other day, some random text messages about lowering his insurance. He's like, yeah, I'm about to lower my car insurance. And I'm like, what agency did you talk to? He's like, nah, I got this text on my phone. I'm like, let me see the text. And I'm looking, it's like from number 9264. And I'm like, Pop, it's not even a name on here. It's a number with a random link. I don't click on nothing else that comes to your phone, period. But, seniors not really knowing, he getting ready to click and give all the information up, so definitely help the scams out. I mean, help our seniors out with these scams.
Yes, please do. All right, so scams targeting taxpayers. So y'all see I am on the IRS, the Internal Revenue website, right? This isn't from the mind of Kamari. This is straight from the source. All right, so they got a whole list. Scams targeting taxpayers, pandemic-related email scams, tax season is prime time for phone scams. IRS Security Summit partners remind families to make online safety a priority during National Cybersecurity Month. Charity fraud information. Beware of OIC mills. Avoid costly promoters. Advertiser settlement with the IRS for pennies on the dollar. So, what is that? Let's talk about that real. Yes. Well, you know what it is.
Yeah.
If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more, be sure to give us a call, because we can work out an arrangement for you so you don't have to pay off your tax debt. The IRS has created this brand new program, the Fresh Start Initiative, and we can help you not pay your taxes. Those are a couple of the commercials I hear, and they want you to call. And then they usually want you to pay them like $2,500 to do an investigation. And listen, I don't have a problem with people making money. I actually do some of that work myself, but I can't guarantee you that you're going to pay pennies on the dollar for your tax debt. That's a lie, flat out lie. And here's the thing, OIC is real. Offer and compromise is what it's called. If you get into a tax situation and you went through rough times, you might be able to get the IRS to settle with you.
Mm-hmm.
That does happen. But guess what? One, it's a long process.
Yep.
Right now it's going from anywhere to 12 to 18 months. That's one. Two, everybody is not accepted.
Yep.
So a lot of times you got to wait 12 to 18 months just to get told no.
No.
But that does not mean it's not real. It is real. But I don't want to sell you a bit of smoke and send it up your butt for no good reason, right? Again, save your money. Do your due diligence. Do your research before you pay any of these folks.
Yeah. And when you do an offer and compromise, be prepared to have them go through your records too.
All of your records, because they do require financials. And if they find out you're lying, ooh, daddy, they gonna be saying,
"You big dummy, you big dummy, you dummy."
Yeah,
that's what they're gonna be doing. So a lot of this stuff. But all right, scams targets educational institutions, including student staff. Taxpayers should be on the lookout for new version of SSN scam, Social Security number scam, right? Identity theft, unemployment benefits, like scam galore is out here.
man.
So just be careful, y'all. Just be careful.
Absolutely be careful. Be careful. Well, you know what? And let me put this out here too. When we talk about tax scams and stuff like that, be careful. But at the same time, don't be afraid, if that makes sense, right? Like, I want you to be careful, do your due diligence, but don't be afraid to be like, man, you know what? I went here for this business trip. I don't want to write it off because I don't want them auditing me. Like,
Right.
if you used it for business and you genuinely went there and you had a business purpose, by all means, take what's legally available to you, right? Like, don't be scared and I'm gonna just lay under the radar. No, that's not what we encouraging you to do. We just don't want you to be out here, fluffing.
Fluffing.
Pull it up the channel.
Lying. We don't want you out here lying, folks.
Right.
No
exactly.
lying.
We don't want you out here lying. Definitely not lying.
All right, so I know Jose had asked for your channel. Anybody else who's watching, make sure y'all go follow Tyrone Gregory, the self-employed guy. His ID is on YouTube is the self-employed guy. On IG, I believe it's the self-employed guy as well, right?
Yeah, the self-employed tax guy.
So if y'all in Cali, Oakland, right? You're up in Oakland, right?
No, SoCal.
Oh, why did I think you were in Oakland? I said that to you earlier too.
Yeah, I'm SoCal. Yeah,
And I know
shout out to the Bay, but I'm down here.
I know you said you was in LA earlier, but for some reason I thought you were in Oakland. I don't know. I got E40 and Too Short playing in my mind.
Hey, them the boys, right? Sprinkle me, man. Yeah.
So, but listen, any other questions? Because I don't want to keep Tyrone all night long. Let's keep going.
Yeah, we go all night. For sure.
I gotta get my vittles. I ain't ate yet.
Oh, that part too.
Yeah,
you ain't ate yet. We got to feed.
Yeah. All right, Industrial Bank is the bank.
All right, the black-owned bank.
Black-owned bank. Where's Industrial out of? All right, JT Cohen wants to learn about taxes. What book? So, let's see. I don't like tax books, but I think this book is cool. It's okay.
Oh, that's I've never seen that one. 475 tax deductions. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yes, the book cover says 475 tax deductions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you qualify for 475 tax deductions.
That part, just to kind of give you an idea, like, hey, maybe this will fit.
Right. So that's one, but you can read the publication 17, which is from the IRS. If you really want to learn taxes, I would suggest you go to VITA, VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. Is a nonprofit type program the IRS runs to get volunteers to help low-income earners to get their taxes done free.
Yeah.
I want to say anybody making under $53,000 a year
I
can
do
get their
believe so,
taxes
yeah.
done free. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's a resource that we all should be thinking about.
Yep.
If it applies, right? If it applies. All right, Jeffrey Dad says, LOL, home office deduction office doubles as your home gym.
Definitely Dad got jokes.
Jeffrey Dad got jokes. Jeffrey, I need you on the show, brother. Come on.
Oh, man, he got jokes.
But here's the thing. Your home office is supposed to be exclusive. And so you're not supposed to count common area. I mean, I've seen some people that said their whole dining room is used for business.
Oh, Lord.
And you can do it, but that's going to be a hard one to prove if you ever get audited. It's going to be a really hard one to prove. And when I say you can do it right, the tax system is kind of on the honor system.
Yep.
So they want you to file and be truthful.
Yep.
But man, if you lie, hell have no fury like the IRS scoring auditor.
Ooh, man. I remember as an enrolled agent, man, I helped somebody with their first audit, and it was like, what? Like you said, hell, woo.
and like this, I'm not saying this, and Tyrone's not saying this to scare you all, right?
Right.
Because these IRS, the examiners and auditors, they're people.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have good days. Sometimes they have bad days. Some of them are buttholes. Some of them are angels.
Absolutely.
Right? They're people.
Absolutely.
So don't be afraid of them.
That part.
All right. About the wallet, they link it up in the chat. All right.
Well, I gotta see what I gotta do to get my book on your read list.
You got a book?
I wrote a book. It ain't necessarily about taxes, though. It's about, teaching business owners how to make wise choices when it comes to their profits.
Where's it at? It's supposed to be an arm reach so you can throw it on the screen.
Man. Well, it's an ebook, right?
Is it on Amazon?
No, see, it's an ebook. I know. See, I'm a tax geek. I ain't really there. Here, let me see if can I do this? Bam.
Oh. Did y'all see how he just stunned it on us? I love it. Hold on. Let's
I just shared my desktop. There, I'm gonna have to give you. I'll email you the link, and you can do it.
Look at that, y'all. Look at that.
Yeah.
Protect your profits. How to avoid number one financial mistake entrepreneurs make when starting a business. Caution. Love it.
Oh, appreciate it. But yeah, that's it. I'll have to send you the link somehow, some way, get it to you, and then if they interested, man, they can find it.
Absolutely. Now y'all know if you notice, right? I got my board going, so y'all know I'm gonna have to come up with a book at some point. Can't let Big Bro get too far from.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna give you the game. If you want me to give you the game live, or you want me to give it to you privately, bro, you let me know. I will give you the game.
We do it private. Now listen, y'all don't know. I mean, it's transparent, but I don't want to detract from the show. Right. All right. LOL fluffing Kamari like I'm not saying fluffing. I missed that. I said that. I will drop an F-bomb now and again. Like, y'all don't realize I'm actually a cusser. I suppress my cussing a lot of times when I'm on live because I don't know when the kiddos are around.
Right.
And
I try to be profanity free myself.
Well, I don't care because at this point, however, I'm not the guy I can have a conversation without using a cuss word. But for me, effective communication, sometimes just saying the F word basically communicates more or better than just saying, will you please do this?
There is scientific study around the use of profanity, and it has very physical and emotional benefits with the use of profanity. There was a study done where using F-bombs, you would be able to endure pain longer while saying it. Actual physical. Matter of fact, it's funny, man. I was good. I like to read very arcane things, right? And that was something I read. And then just discovered, what was it, yesterday, day before yesterday? There's a documentary on Netflix that says cuss words. And I said, I got to watch that because I'm pretty sure it's going to kind of dive into what I've already read. But check it out. Yeah, apparently there's some great benefits to cussing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question. Nathaniel Mitchell says, thank you for the info, fellas. Our pleasure. Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching. I'm a 1099 home health worker. I needed to hear this, right? So you're not just a home health worker, you are a home health business owner.
Absolutely.
When you get a 1099, that puts you in business.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
One of my pet peeves when people say 1099 employee. There's no such thing. And you know what I'm thinking, right?
Oh, California, AB5.
Big dummy. You dummy.
So like that drives me crazy when people say that. But if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them. You got two folks here who love to answer questions, who love to help folks.
Man,
make sure
the purpose.
Right, that is the purpose. But make sure you're tracking your income. Because guess what? If your agency for some reason doesn't give you your 1099 or doesn't give you the proper reporting on your 1099, it's still up to you to file it properly.
Yes. Yeah.
So do your own books, track your money. Don't rely on no agency.
And I'm glad you said there too, though, right? Because a lot of people, trying not to pay income taxes is a poor person's mentality, right? It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It's about how you manage money, and trying to hide money man, you are screwing yourself up, right? Like with money is how we advance, right? Like if you don't want to really report everything, that shows the relationship you have with money. Like I guess I ain't call it a scam, but a pet peeve. You have people that, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, but I don't want to pay taxes. But you can't do both, right? Like you can't write off everything and zero out your income to pay taxes, because when people look at your tax forms and they need to see, okay, is this person credible? Do they have enough money? Are they earning enough money to pay back this loan? That's what they're going to use to make that decision.
You know who loves to do that? What industry?
What's that? Which one?
My barbers and my beauticians, my hairstylists.
That's true.
But you know what? A lot of them don't even pay taxes at all. And it's like, I'm actually jealous of them, the good ones anyway, because if you have a good barber and a good hairstylist, you're typically not going to let them go unless you want to be like me. But even me, right? I'll go get my beard shaped up from time to time. Right. I'm taking my son to the barbershop, so I'll get my beard shaped up. But for the most part, low maintenance. Well, actually, that's a lot. That actually bald head is not low maintenance. That's a lot. That's a whole lot.
Yeah,
but all right. Abaja Wallace says, plus the tax code changes every year, so it's hard to get books on tax. Yes, there's a master tax guide that comes out every year. Mm-hmm. So I was having lunch with some people from ADP today, and they said, "Do you?" Damn. Well, listen, folks need to see it. But hold on, we're gonna come to that. So they said, do you want to match that guy? I said, I'll take it. She's like, you probably don't even use it. I said, but I'll take it. Because every now and again I'll skim through and read what's your problem with ADP. For the record, before you go, the comments of the guest and host of the Finance Row Show are the comments of the guest and host. They do not reflect on the Finance Row Show.
It wasn't gonna be nothing bad, bro. When you say ADP, like, because I get it. They have a business, right? Like they have to go out and get people to sign up and do this. But man, to me, I don't know, like so I have a new rep in my area. And I promise you, within like the last 2 weeks, this dude had been popped up at my office like 10 times. And I'm like, bro, hey, there's here and this time. Like literally, he popped up, Halloween. He popped up because he was in costume. I'm just in the neighborhood, wanted to see, do you have any clients? I'm like, bro, you last week when you came, I told you, I said, I'm not doing anything on taxes right now. I'll probably start working back on taxes in December. And here you are like a week later with the same conversation. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. I think ADP needs to, maybe lay off their salespeople back so they won't be harassing folks so much, because it's just, at the end of the day, it's like, man, I might want to sever ties with you because now you're not respecting my time. Like, bro, ain't nothing changed. Why you just show it up 10 times in 2 weeks? I don't get it.
All right, but that brings me to a point. You brought up ADP. So this goes for ADP, Paychecks, any of the other big payroll companies. They're all scamming folks,
yes,
especially the solo member LLCs and the sole proprietors. Why? Why do you say that, Kamari? Because they be signing y'all up for payroll and y'all not supposed to be getting payroll. By law. This is law. They do it. They do it. And I'm just like, why do y'all do this? And I haven't done this yet, but I would bet dollars of donuts if I were to run the numbers. They're probably overpaying, because what happens is they'll put people on salary. They'll put them on payroll. Technically, when you're LLC, you're not supposed to get salary. You're taking an owner's draw.
Yep.
Because the money still flows through to your Schedule C and then flows through to your 1040. Yep. And that's how you do your profits. You're not supposed to get a W-2. But sadly, so many of us are in the mindset of being employees, thinking that we have to get a check every week or every other week, that we don't realize that you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do or not want to do. But you have the freedom to do whatever you need to do when you need to do it.
Yeah.
And we think we need a paycheck. And that just ain't so. So they're robbing you for the payroll processing fees that they're charging you.
And it does nothing for you.
Nothing. And it makes your situation more complicated.
And matter of fact, you're probably even paying double the Social Security and Medicare tax because they're taking it from the W-2 portion. Then when you file on the Schedule C, you pay a self-employment tax again, which is the same thing. So it's like, yeah, they get you.
But listen, y'all, remember this.
It's only entertainment.
All right. So this show's for entertainment and educational purposes. But remember that, y'all. Do y'all due diligence before you just sign up for somebody that's trying to extract your cash from your pocketbook and your wallet. All right. A couple more comments and then we are getting out of here.
All right. Let's go.
Couple more comments. Oh, we got more. All right. So, all right. Nathaniel says, I have been able to find a lot of tax info for 1099 and home health care workers. Any books you can recommend? Do you have a video on home health care for home health care workers?
You know what? Yes and no. Not particularly specifically home health care workers. I just have a video of, like, how to deal with taxes when you're self-employed. Because I mean, and you can, help me out with this one here. But for the most part, everything is pretty much the same, right? Like he said, he's trying to find tax info. My question would be, what type of tax info is he trying to find? Is he trying to find what he can write off and what he can't? Is he trying to find because at that point, income is income, expenses is expenses, right? Like, I'm trying to figure out, is he trying to tax plan, right? So we can sit up here, because if he's trying to tax plan, I wouldn't go to a book. I would go to an actual tax preparer to sit down and run some numbers so we can be prepared. But when people say they want books on taxes, to me personally, if you're not a preparer, I don't see what a tax book is really going to do for you.
They're trying to
that's
figure
just
it
me.
out.
Like I say, correct me if I'm wrong.
They're trying to figure it out. But just to take a little latitude with it, I'll just start from the top. Make sure you report your income. I don't know if you're getting paid directly from an agency or private clients. I would have a separate bank account for any of the money you have. It can be your personal bank account or a business bank account. I don't know where you're at. Just make sure you separate the monies from your personal money. Absolutely. That's number one. Second thing I would do is, with that same bank account, have all your expenses, whether it's scrubs, because you can write off scrubs, whether it's stethoscopes and other medical equipment you use on the job, you can write that off. Pay for it out of your business account.
Yep.
You might need insurance, some kind of malpractice insurance. Pay for it out of your business account.
Yep.
Let's see. Continuing education. I don't know if you have any CEs that you might have to take.
Yep.
You can write those off as well. Pay for it out of your business account. Books, again, continuing education, dues and subscription. Pay for it out of your business account. Something else you can write off. If there are actual magazines that specialize for your industry or help you do your job, run your business better, that's something you can write off. I'm sure you probably use your cell phone in your business as well. Now, tricky part. If you don't have a cell phone dedicated for purely business, that's 100% business, that you can write that off 100%. If you have a personal cell phone that you use in your business, please don't write it off the entire bill.
Please be honest.
Why is that? That is a tax examiner's dream.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to just whop you upside the head because they know that you're calling your boo, your kids, whoever on that personal line. And it's not 100% for business.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you imagine trying to prove that, going through every single call to say, okay, this was for business, this was personal.
Right. But you
determine that business use percent.
But when that happens with folks, you know what they're thinking, right?
You big dummy, you big dummy, you big dummy.
That's what they're thinking. Because they're like, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
That part,
all right.
absolutely.
So, do that if you have to travel for your job, for your business. If you do not have a home office set up and you leave your job, those are not business miles. Home to work is commuter miles. That's when a lot of people get jacked up on. So I just gave you kind of like a free.
I was about to say, he dropped the gym on it. Where the horn at, boy? Put the horn on it. That was a gym right there. Wait.
Yeah.
Let me reiterate the gem that he just gave you. Right. So IRS, I think it's even in publication 17, or it's in publication 9 something with the business travel and meals.
Yeah.
There's a diagram that they say from home to work is commuter miles, but from work to everywhere else is deductible, right? So what our brother, the finance rebel, just dropped on y'all says this: set up a home office, right? Make sure they got that exclusive and regular use. You set up a home office.
Say that again.
Exclusive and regular use. Those two things it has to be. You set up that home office, then that way when you get up in the morning and you go from your bedroom to your bathroom, shower, do the 3 S's, boot, shave, shower. Then when you go from there to the home office, that's your commute. Then from the home office everywhere else is deductible. That's the gem he just gave on y'all. I hope everybody paid attention to that one, because that's the gem of the day right there.
But you have to have it in home office. Don't lie about
that.
it.
That is the key.
Don't lie about
it. You can't say, oh, my dining table is my home office, so I'm going to use that. No, it has to be legit. Especially if you're going to run that play, it has to be legit.
Running the play. Oh Lord. Let's see. I'm trying to find.
Word.
Yeah. Anybody that says run the play or you should do this because the rich people do it.
Oh.
Immediate turn off. Immediate.
Billionaires do it.
Yeah, you still because
billionaires they can. Okay, yeah, you go right ahead.
Yeah, matter of fact, there's a video I haven't dropped yet where a guy says, if billionaires do it, you should do it. Well, your ass ain't a billionaire.
Man.
Now, there are some things that you can do that billionaires do. But for the most part,
maybe we have to talk about that, because that's a tax scam I completely forgot about. The whole trusts. The whole trust. Oh, if you get a trust, you hide money, because that's what I'm like. A trust is the worst thing to hide money. That is the worst thing. Trusts don't hide money. They just protect you from probate.
Listen, I do trust in estate tax returns. If you ever get a chance, look and see what the tax rate is on trusts and estates.
I was trying to tell them I'm gonna get a trust. I'm like, that's higher,
It ain't.
right? Like you may want to think about that. They're like, well, I don't own nothing. I control everything. What's the difference? What's the difference? If you benefiting from it, if something happens to that, you lose that benefit. You're still impacted. What's the difference? Whether you own it or not, they make it sound sexy, but yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah.
So I wanted to bring this up because this is an important diagram. Let me take off the screen. Let me clean it off. Let me blow this up a little bit bigger. Make sure everybody can see it. So you see home, you see the arrow going across to regular job. Again, if you don't have a home office, regular job, never deductible.
Never.
Home to temporary work location deductible if you have a regular or main job at another location, right? And as Tyrone said, travel from the job to somewhere else, that's deductible, right? That's, again, it gets a little technical, it gets a little tedious, but it will save your behind in the long run. So that's that is the diagram. I might do my book and talk about this.
Hey, like I say, watch. Once we disconnect, we'll talk offline.
So, again, just be careful. And another thing regarding mileage, again, tax auditors delight if you don't have a mileage log. They will whop you upside the head. So make sure you have a mileage log. You can use apps like QuickBooks. They have a way for you to track mileage. Mileage IQ is another one. They have the logs at the bookstore, the mileage logs. Most people don't write them. Only person I've ever seen do this religiously is my dad, and he's a tax accountant. He would carry his book around. He was writing that thing religiously, but
he knows
he'd worked through several audits and he's seen people get smacked around. So he was like, "Oh no, it ain't gonna be me. No sir, not me."
He understood the assignment. Indeed. Matter of fact, our tax software, I'm not sure which one you use. I use Drake, but it asked when you input mileage, it said, "Is this written?
Yes.
Is there evidence?" And if we say no, it doesn't allow us to even take the deduction.
No.
Yeah. So.
All right. So hold on. There's a couple. All right, y'all getting busy over here.
I see that. Yeah. Okay.
Y'all just, oh man. All right. So smooth transition. I don't know what transition you're talking about, but thank you.
Indeed.
All right. Any tax resource for tech workers working remotely with multiple tech jobs? Oh, so you are overemployed.
Overemployed.
Yeah, that's the real thing. So D. Charles, I am actually in a community of overemployed people. I do a tax and financial workshop with them every month. Some of the same stuff I just said applies to you as well. Depending on if you have multiple W-2 jobs versus multiple 1099, your situation is going to change. Because with the W-2, you're going to probably overpay your Medicare. What is it? Is it Medicare or Social Security? Medicare, I believe it's Medicare.
Social Security. No, because Social Security.
No, you're right.
Cap.
Right. Social Security has the cap. So that's, and then there's something with Medicare though. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
What is what is it? NIIT, the net investment tax?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you might have to claim for that. Sometimes though, you also have to be careful if, again, you have multiple jobs, you didn't pay enough money into the system.
Right.
Because the way they calculate your W-4, basically how much taxes you're going to pay every week when you get paid, or every month,
right,
or every other week.
And these employers don't communicate with each other, so
right, and you don't want them to, because a lot of times they don't like people who have multiple jobs.
That part too.
So, but Charles, feel free to D. Charles, feel free to hit me up afterwards. We'd love to help You could always join my text community, which is can't think of the number. It's late, y'all. I'm getting tired.
The man ain't ate. We need to go on and get him something to eat.
That's right. 215-974-0058. Again, 215-974-0058. For anybody that's not in the text community, join the text community because y'all know Twitter done yay Trump me, right? They banned me for no reason whatsoever.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, twice in like the last month. But I think they're trying to make up for it. I think they didn't let the algorithm open, and I had all these new followers come in. So,
well, Elon taking over.
Well, that's Twitter.
The peasants from the lords.
Oh God. Side note: I know most of y'all look like me, grew up like me. Have y'all seen that Twitter has had 500% increase of the N-word usage since this new thing?
No.
500%. There was a whole article about it, but we'll get back to that. I don't want to get too sidetracked. Y'all look that up though. Stay woke.
That part, okay.
About that while it says that's the kids. Listen, only parents can say that because everybody else gets upset when people say that, but it's only a joke. Our Explorer says if you use S-Corp classification and paying yourself as business owner income, it has to pass through payroll software, not just your owners. That's not true. It doesn't have to go through payroll software. You just have to file your 940s and your 941s and pay the IRS.
Yeah, yes, if you're gonna do payroll yourself, you sure better set up a trust account somewhere.
Yes, because that's one of the things that people get dinged for. But yeah, not to go against your point, I'm being overly technical. I would suggest you have payroll software. I would definitely suggest it. All right. I'm definitely claiming mileage and home office deductions. I drive to each patient, okay, and I complete my medical documentation in my home office. From what you've seen, is that normal for? Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, I agree. Normal. I agree. Nothing too over the top.
Nope. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you something. If you want to go on vacation, find you a medical conference to go to in a place where you want to go to. What's
another gym? Why you go? Don't be humble with it, man. Hit the horn. It's another gym. Talking about wrapping the weekend. Give it to them.
Wrap the weekends. Now you got to be careful though, because there's a difference between travel days and work days versus personal days. But something you could do, and no, it's not a vacation, right? Your business isn't paying for your vacation.
Nope.
I've seen some so-called IRS, some so-called accountants say that too. The IRS is going to pay you to go on vacation. No, they're not.
No, the IRS ain't paying your rent. They ain't paying your car note. They ain't paying for your vacation. They ain't paying for your. The IRS ain't paying for nothing.
Nothing, nada. All right, they charge you everything is a la carte. Okay. Much appreciated. Yep. Just make sure you use it, right? Make sure you use it so you don't get jammed up. So you don't overpay in taxes, so you don't get in trouble. And listen, anybody can get audited too, right? Just because you get audited doesn't necessarily mean you did something wrong.
Right.
Because audits sometimes are done by random. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, all right. My pleasure. My pleasure. Do me a favor. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe to the Finance Rebel channel.
Absolutely.
Finance Rebel podcast channel. And make sure you sign up and subscribe to I'm about to say Debt Free Dad. Subscribe to Debt Free Dad.
Debt Free Dad also, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and subscribe to the Self-Employed Tax Guy.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that. All right, I'm fumbling and stumbling over my words, y'all, so I'm going to get out of here before y'all be like.
That's a clear sign. That is a clear sign. Oh, man, clear sign. It's time to go.
All right, JT says, I have an area where I create my coins. Yeah, I've seen it in the videos. And another place in the house where I do my live streams. Technically, it could count. Is it exclusive?
Also, so that to me, that's two separate businesses. Like when we look at the Schedule C, that's two separate SIC codes too, the rings versus live stream. So,
but he's live streaming the rings, so it's marketing for the rings. It can be. I have seen some people say that they do their YouTube business separate
Well,
I
that's
don't.
if it's treated as a business or if it's marketing. That is something that is separate.
Right.
So yeah,
Right. Yeah, it depends. You can't go wrong either way, though.
right.
All right. All right, D. Charles says you should do a video on how taxes work for people who live outside the USA, digital nomads. Okay.
National taxes.
All right. I'm not an expert on it. I pull my guy Trevor in when I talk about international tax, but he might want to jump in.
You know, I learned about something, and I have a few customers that
Whoa.
live abroad.
Hold on.
Oh, that's dope, man. Yeah. I'm talking about.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Listen, my daughter's about to go to college, so we gonna give YouTube their cut, and we're gonna put some money aside for baby girl. So thank you.
That's dope.
All right, JT said it's all about rings. Yeah, so to me, that's just marketing. Now, if you're really going to go in the whole, to Tyrone's point, to the whole influencer, content creator, it could be a whole separate business.
Yep.
But go ahead, Tyrone. I'm sorry I cut you off.
I forgot all the things, so let's keep on.
We had to give Nathaniel his props. I think
that was dope. That was real dope.
He was talking about international tax, though, right?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, for international tax, I discovered that if you're not a U.S. citizen, you don't pay capital gains tax.
Well,
I had to look that up, and I did the research, and I forgot. I'll send you the publication where if they are technically not a U.S. citizen.
And they're working in the States.
Right, yeah. And I think, because when the dude told me, he was like, because he had some Bitcoin transactions, and I did the whole thing, and I of course, approve it before we send. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not subject to capital gains, and I was like, give me a minute, and I went down a rabbit hole, and I found it. I was like, what's it? I guess he right, but okay.
Little secret, y'all. Little secret.
But
tax accountants don't know everything.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say it. My strong suit is small business. I help other people do things, and I love taking on new projects because I learn. Right, like that was something new I added to my repertoire. But do I want to do expats? Absolutely not.
I kind of want to do expats because I want to become an expat.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want to become a digital nomad at some point soon.
Okay.
At least to try it out. Because, I feel like I haven't traveled enough, so I want to go see some spots. But so that is something on me, but I have so many other things to do. I got to figure out tax representation, got to figure out the new tax code for not tax code, but the new changes for real estate investors. I have a lot of real estate investors. Like there's always something. It's like it's not enough hours in a day.
Not enough.
JT Coins.
Man, they giving love for this one, boy. I love the love. That's what I'm talking about. That just makes me feel like we ain't talking out the side of our neck. Somebody's actually appreciating it. Yeah. Appreciation.
And then, shout out to the people who are watching on the replay as well. Let us know if something was helpful for you in this broadcast. So
yes.
All right. Well, Mr. Tyrone, thank you.
I'm honored.
I need to have you on more. And listen, I appreciate you because listen, y'all, I don't know if y'all saw that sub count. Tyrone's kind of a big deal on these YouTube streets.
Please, come on now. What? I've been watching you for a while. Like, oh man, when he reached out, I was I will call my wife and she will validate because I went home like, hey, the finance rebel gonna have me on this show. I was excited.
All right, I appreciate
validated,
that.
Bro. Hey, I'm excited.
I appreciate that. Right. Also, shout out to Naya, who's a big reason why we got together.
Absolutely.
That's the homegirl.
Yeah.
But if y'all didn't see this, I don't know if y'all saw the count. I am small potatoes.
Come on now.
Yo, no. You said I had to blow the horn when I dropped the gem. So you've been out in these streets working. Now I get 55,000, almost 56,000. I won't give you the respect of those extra hundreds on top of that 50,000.
Appreciate it.
All right, and Nathaniel Mitchell, right? Tyrone's channel is the Self-Employed Tax Guy. Yeah. Again, the Self-Employed Tax Guy. All right. JT Coin says Roberto Blake gave me a shout out recently on the video we did together.
Oh man, Roberto Blake, look at you, bro.
Yeah,
Roberto
now
Blake.
I got an interview with Roberto Blake. So y'all telling I got an interview with Roberto Blake that we did at FinCon, but he didn't give me the footage yet. But he been busy. Nah, he been busy. Real rap. He been busy. He just released the book. Roberto's got all kinds of stuff on all the place. Roberto's been very, very helpful to me and helped me grow my channels and all of that. So I am immensely thankful for Roberto Blake.
That is dope, man. You talk about me.
Listen, I ain't got 55,000, right? It's on the screen, y'all. Can y'all see it? I think I need to blow it up. Nah, there it is. 55. Let me stop saying 55. 56,000. We're going to round up.
Hey.
Round up. But no, seriously, bro, I appreciate you. And yeah, one day I'm going to get to 50,000.
Man.
Before, I didn't think any of this was possible, right?
Same here.
My main channel's at a little under 7,000. The podcast channel, I'm just starting. It's at like 75 subs. But I'm cool with it. I'm so cool with it because the podcast channel will be for more long form information. The main channel will be for the short form information. You know, the algos get a little funny. And that's cool because it's really not about the algos. I think people over focus on the algos. It's really about serving the audience. That's what it's for me about.
Being impactful, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely. So is there anything you want to leave folks with tonight? Where can they find you? Anything you're working on?
Man, I'm working on a whole lot, but I mean, for just if I can say anything, one again, appreciate my man Kamari for bringing me onto the channel to introduce me to his community, man. Because it's always good to find somebody that's like-minded. Because entrepreneurship, especially in this industry, it feels so lonely because you got so many other people out here saying other stuff. And man, I admit I get imposter syndrome sometimes. Like maybe I hear these other so-called tax gurus saying these things, and I'd be like, maybe I don't know enough. Maybe I should be out the game. But to hear another brother that's saying like, no, this is what it is, I feel good. So yes, tap in with me. Like say, check me out on the YouTube channel where I share a lot of free information, a lot of free resources. If you want to take it to the next level, always you can tap into the community. Follow me on Instagram. Like I said, I got the book I just dropped teaching people, how to really avoid the mistakes of becoming a statistic. What else am I working on, man? Working on all kind of other projects that'll be coming up at the end of the year. So just stay close to me and Mr. Ellison, man, and we'll make sure y'all be right.
All right. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that came here. Remember, y'all all great. Continue to be great and always strive for the light. Remember, everything said on this channel was
it's only entertainment.
And I'll be back the next time, y'all. Y'all have a great night.
For sure. Peace out, y'all. Be good.